The Wilderness Agility Course. Now we're going back to the classics. Unlike other areas of the wilderness that I've covered, this one comes from the OG RuneScape. Released all the way back in 2003, this place predates even RuneScape 2. In fact, it's even older than Run Energy itself, since you couldn't run in RuneScape Classic, so Agility's only purpose was for shortcuts and quest obstacles. Now, just before Wilderness Agility had come out, the skill was painfully slow. There were only 2 courses at that point, one of them being Tree Gnome Stronghold Agility Course at 9k XP per hour, and the other one was Barbarian Outpost Agility Course at 13k XP per hour. With these abysmal rates, you can imagine just how appealing the new Wildy Agility Course was, clocking in at a whopping 40k XP per hour at level 52. That was around 3 times better than the next best option. These XP rates were so good that it remained the best place to train agility from level 52 to 60 all the way up until the Hollowed Sepulchre was released in the year 2020. Putting that aside, it may be surprising to you, but I actually think this is one of the worst pieces of content that the wilderness ever received. An unrewarding, zero-risk mess that has little to no purpose being inside of the Wildy. I hate content like that. But you know what I hate more than unrewarding Wildy content? It's not being able to watch content because of my region, which is exactly why this video is sponsored by Surfshark. Now, I know a lot of you guys might be hearing this point a lot, but it seriously is a great feeling to be hopping around 30 different countries and then finding out Japan is the only country where you can watch The Truman Show on Netflix. This is a real thing that happened to me, by the way. My day would have been ruined if I didn't get my dose of Jim Carrey. But other than that, Surfshark can help you with a lot of other things, such as staying safe while browsing the web, protecting your identity by sending you notifications on whether or not your personal data has been leaked, and it can also do things like change up passwords and give you security reports for your emails. All of this is backed by Surfshark's powerful encryption. So if you'd like to get in on this, I've got a link in the description with the promo code POISONED. Click on that and you'll receive a 3-month free trial. A big thanks once again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. So like I said before, the reason why I think it's such bad content is because there is no risk involved here. There's no monetary reward here, no scaling risk mechanic, nothing. The most you would risk in a place like this might be a couple of stamina potions, and that's it. No matter where you look in the wilderness, no matter how bad it is, it will always have resources to be collected or money to be saved. I do understand the thinking that Jagex had at the time though. Since this spot had the best XP rates by far, everyone was going to want to use it. But you would only get these XP rates if you weren't dying, because the amount of time that it takes to get back to this spot in 2003, well, yeah, it took a while. So you needed to bring some valuable gear to try and defend yourself. However, if we fast forward to today, there is a very convenient teleport that will take you right next to where the agility course is. Not only that, but this place is nowhere near as desirable today as it was back then, so it has remained dead for a very long time. So what exactly can be done to fix this? Well, I always have a method when trying to bring Wildy content up to speed with methods outside of the wilderness. The method involves nearly matching the best XP rates while not being greater than them, but at the same time, the best money that you can make in the skill. Then make the method less click intensive and more enjoyable to do. Take Dark Crabs with Elite Diary for example. They're the most AFK fishing, have higher XP than Karambombs, and you can make a good amount of money. Then if you want to do them click intensively, they're only slightly worse than Swordfish in XP, but massively better in GP. So Dark Crabs are still worth your time, but if you happen to be the person that's going for XP records, you don't have to get it from the wilderness. Now let's get into it, shall we? Before we talk about the mechanics, I want to get into the lore of this area. The area could be renamed to the Gorok Training Grounds. Gorok was the second largest Zerosian city back in the Second Age, and these training grounds are some of the city's last remnants. At the start of the course, you'll see a ghost of Arkanthos, once a great warrior and owner of the Gorok Training Grounds. After speaking to him, he'll tell you about some of the glory days of the Zerosian Empire, as well as scattered remnants of the city that he'd like to recover. These scattered remnants you'll find on the course itself, but more on that later. Now we can get into the mechanics. I know I'll be asking a lot to make a mini sepulcher here, but I honestly believe that it would work very well in this environment. Those that knew the course would be able to have escape routes, unless the PKer also knew how to do the obstacles. This also means the failure of an obstacle is skill-based rather than random chance like most agility courses. Moving on to the XP and GP per hour, I think the XP per hour should scale based on your level. This means at level 60 you'd have XP that reflects the best XP per hour that you can have outside of the Wildy, and then that scales up at level 70, 80, 90, and 95. The GP would also scale with this. Speaking of GP, let's talk about the scaling risk versus reward that could be implemented. Every lap, a Zerosian mark has a random chance of spawning. The higher your agility level, the higher the chance it has to spawn. These marks can be traded into Arkanthos at the start of the course. Each mark is worth 10 points, but the value of each mark increases if you hand in multiples at the same time. For example, if you hand in 5 marks, it's 75 points instead of 50, and if you hand in 10 marks, it's 200 points instead of 100. The mechanic caps out at 10 marks handed in. The shop would consist of a new consumable called Blighted Stamina Potion potions. In other words, stamp pots that can only be used in the wilderness. It would also have buyable crates that would contain an assortment of lucrative rewards. Beyond that, there would also be a new item called the Ancient Cloak. This cloak is an option for you high-risk players out there. By spending 1,000 points, you can purchase this cloak, and the cloak has the ability to reveal a ghostly ladder every so often on the course. After climbing the ladder, you can get into an instance area with very long monkey bars. This is where the convenience kicks in. Click on the monkey bars and sit back while you get some periodic agility XP. This would last for about 30 seconds. At the end of the bars, you'll open a chest with some nice rewards, and it'll teleport you back to the start of the training grounds. The frequency that these ladders appear depend upon the level of charges your cloak has. 10 marks is the minimum amount for the cloak to work. At this charge, it will spawn a ladder every 30 minutes. At 20 marks, it will spawn a ladder every 20 minutes, 50 marks, it'll spawn every 10 minutes, and 100 marks will cap out and it will spawn a ladder every 5 minutes. Be careful though, you won't lose your cloak if you die with it, but you will lose the marks that are inside. If killed, each mark will be converted to 10k coins and dropped to the PKer. Finally, the last reward is of course a very rare prize, mostly because I love the concept of getting something really rare. It wouldn't be any fancy item however, just a very small chance to obtain 500 Zorosian marks from the chest at the end of the monkey bars. Once again, with this overhaul, it would give added risk and added reward to this deep area of the wilderness, as well as control on how much you're willing to risk for said reward. That's just about it for today. If you're looking for some more high-risk action, you might just enjoy this trailer. This idea got me thinking. If you already have a Wildy weapon and are skulled, the PKer wouldn't suspect you to be anti-PKing. Therefore, you'd have the element of surprise. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. But I wanted to take... And of course, a big thanks to Mr. Snowmiser, Hamster King 5, Mia IRL, Samuel Peterson, and our new member, Yahaz.